Two KU sorority leaders have stepped down after being accused of using racist remarks against their Asian members. This is all happening after a video from February is resurfacing. The Kappa Delta sorority went on social media in response saying, "We seek to be a place where all women feel welcomed and diversity is valued." The president has since refused to do any speaking on these past events. Live in Lawrence, I'm Marcella Reeder. Thousands of Americans have experienced the gas price increase in the past couple of months. And last month alone, there was a 33-cent increase in gas. So if it were to cost you $20 to fill up your car, you'll now have to add $5 on top of that. One way to help save on gas prices is an app called the Gas Buddy app. So if you are one of the many out there looking on ways to save on gas, the Gas Buddy app is a good way to start and looking for those price comparisons in order to save you a couple dollars every time you go to the gas station. For KUJH, I'm Marcella Reeder.
And move aside Tesla, the Hummer is back and looking a bit different. General Motors revealed its new and all-electric GMC Hummer EV last night, and we remember this car having a whopping mileage of 14. Now the truck can run 350 miles from one full charge. This beast is said to have more power than the older models. With four-wheel drive and 3 electric motors, it can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. According to General Motors, production will begin next fall, starting with Edition 1. That's right, there will be a second model to follow in 2020. All of this will not be cheap, though. The Hummer will be starting at $113,000.
That is crazy. That is going to be so interesting to see.
That is a lot of money, and yeah, when I talked about the second edition coming in, it will be cheaper.
That's true.
Don't know how much, but not good for me.
I guess
don't
we'll
have
find
that
out.
money.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, they said it is going to be competitors to the Tesla super truck, and that's very interesting. You know, helping out the economy. You know, not wasting gas too much, and you know, I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the World War Museum and Memorial is left with vandalism on the building walls in the midst of the presidential election last night. Kansas City residents show footage of the messages left discouraging people from voting. Statements such as "Don't vote" and "Fight for revolution" are spray painted near the memorial's entrance doors. Early last morning, the memorial served as a place for the public to come in and vote. And shown early this morning, blue tarps are still being shown covering these messages. The memorial took to Facebook saying, "Today we'll clean this up, and we hope that you'll do your part and vote and make your voices heard." And you know, I think that's very important to make sure you're getting out and voting. But wow, you know, that historical building.
I know, it's so crazy. It's such a pretty building. It's sad to think of spray paint all over it.
Right.
But
I'm Marcella Reeder, and welcome back to Entertainment. In recent Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, he sat down with Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown. Brown brought up that she almost quit acting after a lost-landed role in Game of Thrones. The 16-year-old said, quote, "This industry is just full of rejection 24/7. You get far more no's, a lot more no's, before you get a yes." I'm glad she kept fighting because, let's be honest, Stranger Things would not be the same without her. Recent news of rock star Eddie Van Halen is gripping Van Halen's fans nationwide. He died at the age of 65 yesterday after fighting throat cancer for over a decade. Van Halen was reportedly in and out of the hospital over the past year, and his health for the last 72 hours, guys, was rapidly declining. Van Halen's son, Wolfgang, took to Twitter writing, "He was the best father I could have ever asked for. Every moment I shared with him on and off the stage was a gift. I love you so much, Pop." And for me, my dad, he used to work as a stage manager and actually had breakfast with him. So this is a really big loss for everyone nationwide. Last but not least, Netflix will be releasing Selena the series in December. The actress playing our beloved Selena is Christian Serratos. If you recognize her, you might know her from her role in the Walking Dead series. And wow, the resemblance is spot on. That's a look at entertainment today. Looks like this weekend is going to be one for outside instead of Netflix binging. Let's go over to Jade with the weather.
The coronavirus has a high possibility to infect students and staff at the University of Kansas. With new cases emerging and the death toll rising in America, students fear the possibility of Asian students carrying the virus.
I think I've seen the email, and because of that kind of communication, on campus I haven't seen any sort of discrimination, but I have heard stories about people being discriminated against because they are Asians or they look like Chinese people. I myself have not personally experienced that, but I could see why it is happening because of the fear, because of the lack of knowledge that people have.
The university is encouraging students to watch for discrimination against any race or ethnicity. When snow falls, campus transforms, but the beauty can quickly turn frosty.
As you can see, students behind me have to go up these stairs right here to Jayhawk Boulevard. And on a day like this where it's snowing, icy, and wet, hazardous conditions are bound to happen to mobile students. Unfortunately, for students that are bound in wheelchairs, this is not an option, and they're going to have to go somewhere else, and that could cause more time to their schedule.
Sophomore Belle Antonacci is one of the many students who sees the effects that weather has on each type of student.
The campus is so hilly and there's so many stairs that it just seems like a burden for people to have to go through other buildings just to use an elevator to get onto the roads that their classes are on, like Jayhawk Boulevard. It just seems super time consuming, and there needs to be more wheelchair ramps on campus and other resources for people in wheelchairs that they can use other than elevators in buildings to get where they need to go in a more timely way.
Graduate assistant John Watson is a wheelchair-bound person who has experienced winter on campus.
Getting around when there is ice on the pavement can be an issue, especially on hills. So to propel yourself, you're going to have to push a little bit harder on a ramp. And when there's ice and you're pushing harder, you might end up in kind of this situation where you're just spinning in one place and not going to be able to get up a ramp. And like I mentioned, the different types of wheelchairs are also going to play a role. I've been using a wheelchair for most of my life, and that's not the case with everybody. You know, in terms of disability, they're often acquired later in life, and so there's, I'm sure, a certain learning curve. You kind of got to figure out, plan ahead, map where you're going to go, map the entrance that's going to be accessible for you in a chair.
Reporting for KUJH News, I'm Marcella Reeder. And that's KUJH News for November 4th. To view our stories again or to share them with your friends, visit our website at tv.ku.edu. Thanks for joining us and have a great evening.